Hello guys, how you guys are doing? I know everybody is great. For myself, I am fabulous. I cannot complain. So tonight I'm going to continue discussing about my book, The Conscious Reprogramming Model, The Three Layers of Self, and why the conscious mind is the most important part of the human experience. It helps us heal, it helps us shape of our identity, it helps us make decisions, it helps us analyze decision, it do all of that good stuff before it goes to a conscious level. So let's start. So the conscious mind is in a state of analyzing, judging, accepting, and seeking and focusing on information. And that information that we're focused on a conscious level, and the experience that we may have that catches our attention on a conscious level, and of course it will be on an emotional level, we are storing that information possibly as part of our identity or part of an experience that we never want to experience again. So we kind of tag it as like a red flag. And on the other spectrum, if we went through a traumatic experience and we suppressed that experience, but for some strange reason that experience now is coming to our awareness. When the suppressed information comes to our awareness, is coming to the conscious mind for us to acknowledge it, to release that pain and that hurt to that experience. So the reason why I say that the conscious mind is the gateway is because in order for us to shape our identity to what we want our identity to be, we need to have new information and new perspective on a conscious level. And in order for us to heal suppressed things that hurt us, or things we want to get rid of, or a part of us that don't no longer identify with who we want to be, we have to be aware of it on a conscious level. So subconscious information that's automatic must come to a conscious level for us to release that information as part of our identity. So now here's the thing: when we are trying to change and become a better version of ourselves, we got the new self on the conscious level, and we got the old self from the subconscious coming to the conscious level, and is this places want to be released. And in order for that to be released, we have to be aware of it simultaneously on a conscious level. And because of that, the conscious mind is very important to guard and what's going in, because it can be very challenging to release a challenging experience if we don't have the emotional capability to release it on a conscious level, on an emotional memory level, which has to be consciously released. So the conscious mind is responsible for input of information and to release the old emotional and thought baggage. And that is why I say the conscious mind is the most important part of the human experience, because it helps us be aware of the things that we need to heal. And because most of us just don't understand that we intake information that is not beneficial for our well-being. So let's say for an example, society normally tells us that a woman should look this way, a woman should behave this way, or give us some kind of ideology that we might follow. And we believe this information is true. Nevertheless, because we may not fit that ideology or fit that image or have the mind frame of what we're being programmed to believe, it can make us feel insecure. It make us feel inadequate because we don't fit the mold that society say we should fit. And we believe that on a subconscious level, because the conscious mind accepted as truth. So when subconscious mind accepted as truth, then we tell the subconscious mind, well, believe this information because it's something that is being exposed to us. And if we don't have a strong sense of ideology or sense of self, then we could believe anything. Then now, let's say you change and you became a different person, you realize that, well, I don't want to follow society rules. I don't want to follow that, right? So then now that old information that you program your subconscious mind as saying that, this is the mold of society saying I gotta fit, and you believed at one point that you couldn't fit that and put doubt and fear and all kinds of, negative things that didn't make you be your best self. Now it's time for you to release that. And of course, you're gonna be aware of it on a subconscious level. But now you're gonna be in a battle of two places, of a duality where the new self is emerging because I'm confident. I have high self-esteem. I'm that girl, or I'm that guy. You're here. But then you have the old self with all the information you collected before that's on automatic programming is telling you, well, no, you're not. But you're like, yes, I am. And this is where the duality of the conscious mind being the gateway, because then when both self is trying to be released, it has to come on the conscious level. And once it comes to the conscious level, then you have to make a choice, right? Because now you become an observer of your thoughts. This is called mega cognition. So you're being conscious of your thoughts now on a conscious level to decide which way you want to go. Am I going to believe the old programming, or am I going to override the old programming and say, well, this is no longer me anymore? So now you become an observer of yourself. And this is what, and you're doing this all on a conscious level, because it's no longer subconscious, right? And now it's conscious level. So this is why I say the conscious mind is the most important thing, because at that level is where we're going to make a decision how we want to program the subconscious mind and eventually the unconscious mind to be a better version of ourselves or be a bad version of ourselves. The choice is usually ours. And yes, and that's it for tonight. Until next time.